A very good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to today's edition of the Evening Review. My name is Tewen Jabela, your host. Tonight on the show, we are excited to be joined by Nico Sibolile. He is a taxi driver here in Windhoek who has been making headlines for the past couple of days for returning $8,000 that was forgotten in his car by a customer. A very, very beautiful story. Nico, thank you for making time.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And thank you for having me today.
Wonderful.
Sure.
Yeah, so what happened, if you can give us a bit of background. It's such a beautiful story. If what we read in the papers is true, that's why we called you in, so that we hear from the man himself. What happened and what date was it?
The date, I will not know exactly.
Okay.
I think that was the last week, Monday,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, around afternoon time. So I picked up this lady. She was with this other young man. I don't know, they are kind of family. So I took them from Groove Mall and they were going to Vika service station in town. So on the way, the old lady was making funny jokes, talking nicely to me, as she called it, like a granny and son talk. So yeah, we got along so well. So I also helped them to load the things in the car because they had a lot of goods that they bought. So I helped them to load and as well as to offload when we reached at Vika service station.
Yeah.
So, but then I didn't see the handbag that remained was kind of a bit under the seat because she was seated behind. So when I left them there, I proceeded to Chamise. That's when one client behind there noticed the bag, and then she asked the other clients also behind because there were two. Yeah, the other client who we came with all along from the other side of Groove. So when she asked, the man said, no, the bag was not his. That's the time I noticed there was a handbag actually behind there. Okay, so I looked back and then I saw the handbag and I recognized it because I saw it when the old lady jumped in. Yeah, knowing that she was the only person who I just recently dropped. I already knew it belonged to her. So then, okay, I decided I'll take it back after dropping the people in Ochimise. Yeah, so I dropped the people there, and then I turned back going to Vika service. That's when on my way to Vika service, I received a call from City Police telling me that the lady was there. Yeah, I suspect she took the back number of the taxi and she went with it there. Or maybe they reviewed it from the cameras, I don't know. Yeah, so that's when I told them that I was already on my way to take the bag to the owner. Yeah, so instead then I just diverted. Instead of going to Vika, I went straight to City Police just to hand the bag back.
Okay.
Yes.
No, it's an incredible story. So, but you are saying that prior to City Police calling you, you had already planned to return the bag, and it's not because you panicked that maybe you'll be arrested and therefore you must return it.
No, I was already on my way, not because of City Police.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to return the bag.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, where did you get that? The idea of returning so much money in a country where everybody's struggling. You're a taxi driver. I'm sure you also have your own struggles. You also have your own needs, but somehow you were returning the bag.
Yes. Throughout my background, when I was growing up, I was raised from a family where we don't steal.
Yeah.
Just like that. We are told not to steal because stealing is bad. You know? As I grew up, I learned to understand what it means to steal.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to steal from somebody just to make a better living.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I prefer getting my money in the right way, just like I told the Namibian newspaper also.
Yes. We saw the headlines.
Yeah.
So we also saw the because we are also then told that this family seems to have had death in their family, and that the money was even meant for to buy a coffin. That's what we read in the Namibian. Did they say anything to that effect when you returned the money to say, my child, thank you, we actually needed this money so much for that?
Yeah, the lady said that only when we met at city police, not before.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so she told me and the city police officers at the same time, like, yeah, she was like, do you know what this money was meant for? You could see the facial expression was like, she was in shock. She didn't believe that I brought the bag with money back. Yeah, she went on like, no, this money was meant for the coffin. Apparently she raised this other child, and then she was hit by a car, so she had to fork that money for the coffin. So by that, I was also impressed. I was happy with myself, because imagine if that person could not get that money back.
Yeah, absolutely.
What could she have done?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was going to be a disaster, because obviously in a difficult time of any family, if they lose any money, because in fact what happens when people have death in the family, normally there's money coming in, good Samaritans coming forth with some donations and whatnot. So if it was the opposite, where the money is being taken out of the family, that would have been a disaster. But tell me about your background. When you say that you were raised in a family like that, what sort of values were instilled in you as a child?
Yeah, as a child, I was taught to respect people, elders in general, any elder person, and not just your parents. Yeah. So we're taught not to steal, not fighting, not to fight, all those bad things to stay away from them.
Yeah.
So I live by that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
In Windhoek, again, because a lot of us were taught similar values.
Yes.
It's an African thing that a child must live by a certain set of rules and values. But when we come to Windhoek or the big cities, we usually forget very fast what we were taught, especially those of us who grew up in villages. We immediately forget what we were taught in the villages. Why do you think it's important to stick to those values even if you do not live in the village anymore?
I think it's important because as a person you should also think beyond the level of just humanity. Just think of, what if you steal somebody's thing? How will that person cope tomorrow? Like, how long did the person come up to build something like that?
Yeah.
And then you just want to take it all away in a second for free, or maybe I don't know how to call it. It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. I don't want anybody doing that, including myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What we read in the Namibian is that it is also not the first time that you are returning something. They said you've been driving a taxi for 8 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said 10 years though, but...
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought I read 8, but anyways, yeah. Okay. The point is that you've been in the industry
for a long
time.
Yes.
And that in the past, customers had forgotten the items in your car. How did you handle those previous incidences?
Yeah, like the most recent one also was, I think that was last month. There was a client who forgot 2 big bags containing shoes, new shoes. They sell at this junction of Ellerins, closer to Pep. Maybe you normally see them if you pass that side.
Yes.
Kind of leather shoes. Yeah. So those ones I didn't see them on time, to say the truth. So the person also went to city police as the other one did. They called me from there. While I was on the call, I told them, let me check, because those ones were behind in the boot. Immediately I saw them, I told them, no, the bags are here, I'll bring them back. Yeah. So that's all that I need to be doing.
Yeah.
I need to do the right thing when I can. Because what's the use of me taking somebody's things? How will they survive tomorrow? Yeah, I think like that.
Yeah. You, as a taxi driver, obviously, it's also not easy. I do not know how much you guys get paid, but I don't think it's so much money. And we've had a lot of, but it's not even about how much a person earns. It's about principles to say, it doesn't belong to me, and therefore I cannot keep it.
Exactly.
But there are many of your colleagues in the taxi industry who, do not do the same. Do you think, Nico, also that, for example, these numbers, because we didn't understand at the beginning when these big numbers that are on the taxis, what they meant.
Yes.
And of course, we know that some of them are fake.
Yeah.
There was a time when someone was driving someone took a photo of two taxis following each other, and both had the same taxi number.
Yeah.
But do you think it helps a bit also in terms of preventing crime to have those big numbers?
Very much.
Yeah.
Because imagine in the incidents of the shoes, what if I couldn't have seen those things and they didn't call me?
Yeah.
I probably couldn't even know whose things they were.
Because you carried too many people.
Yes. And I didn't really know who was the owner of the bags.
Yeah.
So then, at least they are helping a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like you said, when I was there returning the shoes, I saw a lot of notices inside City Police. Like people get into fake taxis. They report the incidents, but they don't catch up with the people because the cars are not registered.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see. So even if you see the big numbers, they are fake. They mean nothing. Yeah. Like the one that you said now, I've also seen quite a few taxis, same numbers but different cars, different names. So then, I don't know. That's bad.
Yeah, I hear you. We go for a quick break and return for second half.
All right.
Every Namibian, young and old, needs and wants to know what is happening in Namibia and the world. Namibian Sun provides exactly that. We cover Namibian and international as well as community news. Some of these stories are also delivered in Oshuambo. We pride ourselves as a leading source of sports news from all codes locally and internationally. And on Fridays, we bring you the latest entertainment updates and what's hot on the Namibian events calendar in our weekly chill section. Namibian Sun brings you Market Watch on a daily basis, our informative, economic news-focused publication.
We continue the show with Nico Sibolile tonight on the show. Nico, I don't know if you have seen the reaction of the public. Of course, the majority of people have praised you, saying you are a good man, you are a good citizen. And then there are those who say, but how can this man, how can he return $8,000? Some even saying, he's a taxi driver, sort of looking down on you and saying, it's because of this kind of attitude that he's a taxi driver. If he was maybe a bit more dishonest, he would have been doing something else. I don't know. Have you seen any of those comments?
I've seen them, but I don't really mind about them because they live their life the way they want. I live mine the way I want.
Yeah.
So I don't really mind anybody talking down on me. I do what I think is right.
Yeah.
They do what they think is right.
Yeah.
If they think stealing for them is good, so be it. But I encourage them not to steal. Yeah, because one day they'll also lose things like that.
And they would want them to be returned.
Exactly.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
So while you are here, Nico, then let's just talk about your experience as a taxi driver. because of course there are a lot of issues there. For example, I think people pay now $13 per trip, the short trips.
Yes.
How is your experience in terms of what you make today compared to what you used to make maybe 5 years ago? I mean, you've been in the industry for so long.
Yeah. It's a bit
because
different.
I'm asking because people are, the taxi associations are calling for an increment in taxi fares and all these things.
Yeah, I think the main reason for calling on a taxi increase is due to fuel increase also. Yeah, because if you look at it, we pay at a pump for 1 liter is at $20.50. And when you look at it, it's kind of not fair if somebody pays you $13 and maybe you are taking the person from here to Korea Dam is quite far. And if you say maybe you pick only one person, that's kind of a losing trip, And it's not always that you'll carry a full trip from point A to B, you understand? So I think that's the main point of wanting to increase the fare, as far as I'm concerned, because that's the biggest difference that I've ever seen. Back then we used to pay a liter for around $13, $14. All of a sudden, boom.
$20.50.
And then they only increased for us, I think, $1. Which I don't think it's a fair one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at how much you spend in fuel and how much you take home at the end of the day, because I know that if you're driving for someone, there's usually this fee that they say, a daily fee that you must always deliver to them. So it must have become very difficult also then to make that amount of money.
Yes, it's quite difficult because you look at it like out of the total that you make in a day, half of it or even more goes to fuel for the next day. So it becomes really difficult because there are times when it's really tough to make up to that amount. Yeah, so it's quite challenging.
Do the owners understand? Or they are just saying, I just need what we agreed on? Do they look at the circumstances and say, look, we have had a number of fuel increments and therefore the situation wouldn't allow me to bring this much?
Yeah, there's some who would understand. Some don't understand. You find some who will tell you, okay, I need this amount. So if you bring less, I cut also from your, from what you get at the end of the day. So that one, I don't know how to go about it. Yeah.
Tell me, so when you say that you've been a taxi driver for 8 years or so, is it out of passion is it something that you enjoy, or is it also due to lack of other opportunities?
It is due to lack of other opportunities, to say the truth,
What were your dreams as a young man? What is it that you wanted to do in life?
At first I used to think of being a pilot one day. Then things didn't turn that way. That's bad. But
what took away that dream from you? Is it because you didn't pass in school, or you come from a background that didn't have enough resources to really help you pursue your dreams? What were your experiences?
The most serious one is from a background of not financially stable background, so I couldn't do much. Even if I wanted to try anything other than that, I couldn't because of finance problems.
Tell me this. You see, in other countries, if someone is in the news for a good deed like yours, you would have institutions or government agencies coming and saying, look, this is a good citizen. We must reward him with a job. I remember there was a a Senegalese guy in France who, I think there was a baby stuck on the balcony of a flat or something, and I think the baby was climbing on the balcony and then he fell, and that man rescued the baby. I can't remember the details. Not too long ago, and he was awarded with a citizenship of France. Then he became, I think, a firefighter or something like that. And then just this past week, there's a plane that clashed into a lake in Tanzania. And there's a young man who came to the rescue of so many people. 19 people died, but the majority survived because he sort of opened the plane with some tools and whatnot. They rewarded him with a fireman job. Do you think that maybe I should start also doing these things? I mean, look, what you did is what every good citizen should do. But because it's rare, sometimes you think that the person should be rewarded. What are your thoughts?
According to me, I think yes, it's good always to reward such deeds, so as to encourage others. Maybe they will change. Such people who are saying I should have taken the money, maybe they will look at, okay, this guy did this and then so he got this one out. So maybe I should try it next time. I think that would be a good example. Because I'm sure they are just looking at, look at this loser, he returned money and what does he get at the end of the day, you know? People are looking at such things.
No, you're not a loser. You are really a model.
It's just an example.
No, I hear you. And there are indeed those who will be saying, look at that loser or this loser. But for me, that is actually the obligation of any good citizen. I think in closing, Nico, then, what do you want to do in life? I mean, look, you've been on the road for a long time. It's not the highest paying job in town, and it's not the safest job in town either, because sometimes you give a lift to people with bad intentions. They rob you, they take away things from your phone or the money that you made that day and whatnot. So it's a very risky job. And being on the road also, accidents can happen. Of course, they can happen to all of us, but maybe you are more prone to such risk because you are always on the road, almost 24/7. What are your dreams going forward?
Sure, I just dream of getting something better so I get away from the taxi industry, because it's really not safe, to say the truth. Accidents are quite a lot. It's not by chance that I'm not hurt. It's just by the grace of God. You never know. Accidents happen to anyone, anytime.
Absolutely.
And also these days, the young boys are at us looking for, you know, the small money that we make. They want to take it. So taxi industry is not that safe to say. So I hope one day maybe I get a better job somewhere.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sibolile, for making time, and thank you for being a very good citizen. I hope my viewers are watching, and some of them are very prominent people who have opportunities, who can call us and say, look, we are looking for that man's number. We have some ideas here. Maybe he will be interested. So those of you who can do that for a good man like this one, do that. But thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Sure. That was tonight's show, and good night.
The Evening Review is a daily interview-based talk show that dissects and expounds on current affairs as they occur in Namibia. The show aims at reaching Namibians of all age groups who seek better understanding of the state of current affairs in the country. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: Namibian Sun and Namibia Media Holdings. The Evening Review focuses on interviews, latest news, and up-to-the-minute current events. Contact evening at synergy.com.na. Evening Review, unpacking today's pertinent issues.